Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 2, Episode 2 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, titled The House of the Nightmare Witch. So we start off in Russia. Great old Russia. And it's Marcy and Velma basically attempting to rob a museum. And we find out that they're doing it, Marcy's hot dog water. We find out her name in this episode. Which is just like, damn. I still can't get over how brutal the name Hot Dog Water is. So we find out they're working for Mr. E. And, he basically tells them, alright, we can't steal what we need, so we gotta get it shipped to Crystal Cove. So that's what they do. Then we meet the curator of that museum who's selling it and his assistant. They're taking their kid... The house or whatever, a house comes alive, has chicken legs, and just starts moving away. And takes his assistant, the curator's assistant, and throws him inside. And again, this is like... Why would you do all this work if you could do this in the first place? If you have the ability to do this, you have the ability to make money somewhere else, some other way. Why are you doing this? Another thing I like is that it's not back to the status quo. Like, it's not, alright, gang's back together. Daphne's still with that Baylor Hotner dude, and she's very much still pissed about the engagement being broken off, which is absolutely fair. Fred went about that in the dumbest way possible. Daphne cared about him. Velma cared about him. Shaggy and Scooby cared about him. They would have very much helped him find his birth parents. They would have did it as they've always done things, as a team, but Fred screwed the pooch, basically, just... And I love that, Fred is not very well liked, even because he was on the soccer team, apparently, and him leaving basically cost the soccer team the championship, which is just like, if one dude leaving cost you everything, and now cost you two of your scholarships, I think there's a bigger problem than Fred. So Velma vouches for Hot Dog Water, her Mr. E buddy, and they get her on. So they start investigating. And I'm going to be honest, Fred starts waxing poetic about Daphne in one part of this episode. I'm just like, where the fuck was this guy when Daphne wanted you, huh? Also, he has this stuffed bear that's named Mr. Trapper or whatever. And he ends up stitching some of Daphne's hair to it. And Hot Dog Water brings up the great point of, is that Daphne's real hair? And he, avoids it, but, implying it's Daphne's real hair. Where did he get Daphne's hair? I'm just gonna assume, like, maybe there was a brush in the back of the mystery van of hers, and there's just a freakish amount of hair in there, and that's the safe answer. Any other thing, if it's any other answer, then there was just a spare brush or two, which was had clumps of hair. We're just gonna leave it, no. So, Scooby catches Velma and Hot Dog Water talking about Mr. E after they kind of have a run-in with the monster house and the witch, Baba Yaga, whatever. And she basically confirms and says, I had no choice, and I'm just like, Velma makes it real hard to trust her sometimes. I mean, keeping Angel's secret, now working for Mr. E. Velma is a trustworthy person, I'm sure. But, like, she's making it very hard. Although she does immediately say she trusts them and hands them the, piece of the Planispheric disc. They also get help from Daphne to identify some broken jewelry. And that's how they, I guess, figure out who... it was actually the curator who did it. So they end up catching the house and find out it's the witch and find out it's the curator. And he says he helped do this because he was Russian special forces. And so he had all this cool knowledge to build this house and rig it. And I'm just like, if you had the knowledge to build this weaponry of a monster house, I feel like you could have sold this to the Russian government. They would have loved that. Made you some money, but no. You had to do the hard thing. And now your ass is in prison. Also, then we have a scene of Marcy getting dropped off home, and there's just fucking Mr. E with a keyboard just playing his little tune. I'm just like, I love that Mr. E is such an eccentric bastard that he has a keyboard that he keeps with him just to play his own theme song. And you know, it took like years to perfect it. He had several iterations before he found that exact theme song. It was like, yes, that's the one. And he basically cautions her about getting too close to Velma because she's obviously not loyal to him, and obviously, overall, this was a fun episode, and as I said, I love that it's not straight back to the status quo. Marcy's now a part of the gang. Daphne's still not. Shaggy, who had his hair chopped off to be in military school, is only just starting to grow back, which I think is a little cool detail. They didn't immediately just went and grow it all back. They ended up having to draw a whole other design, which I guess, maybe isn't too hard considering it's not that much hair, but, still probably hard, especially when you already have something you can just basically stamp and slap on and be like, yep, that's that. Overall, I'm gonna give this episode about a 7 out of 10. The fact that the villain could have easily maybe figured something else a better way to make money, like, it's one of those villains where he could have easily figured out a way to make more money. If he can create this monster house mechanical monstrosity, he can figure some way to make money. Surely, right? Maybe I'm just stupid. But I feel like there's gotta be steps he's gotta have taken before he's like, well, time to make a monster house. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.